My video for November the 5th, 2018, video number 2897, is entitled Sincere Ignorance and Conscientious Stupidity. Someone sent me a quote by Martin Luther King that included those words. I looked up more of what he said. Here is a sampling. Quote, "Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. Nothing in the world is more dangerous than a sincere ignorance and conscientious stupidity. In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends." End quote. How poignant and so appropriate. Like all of us, he was human, having high and low points. I find it ironic that he was killed, probably by a mind-controlled patsy working for the corrupt powers that be. Then they made a national holiday to honor him. What hypocrisy. Yes, all humans are equal, although I doubt that all who appear human actually are. Psychopaths, to me, are subhuman. Calling them human as if they are on the same level as we are is insane. Humans care. Humans love. Humans can fail lie-detector tests. Psychopathic demons do none of those things. We've seen their actions even through the media they control. Even though the media they control tries to characterize them as normal. I'd trust Trump more if he did not have so many of them on his team. How can he drain the swamp? How could he have ever been elected if not connected to the elite who spread terror as if it's normal? Yes, I woke up really early this morning because daylight savings time ended. And I woke up in time to set my clock back right as it was officially being set back at 2 a.m., which really made it 1 a.m. So I thought, well, I'm going to check and see if Valentine is available and maybe we can record a video together. Well, he did not respond. And so finally, I decided, well, I may as well go ahead. I already have the title and the blurb started, and I finished the blurb, which I just read to you. And I continue to be impressed by Martin Luther King and by others that seem to give a warning. I mean, Eisenhower gave a warning before he left the presidency. Kennedy tried to warn us. Various ones through our history, and I'm talking about the history during my lifetime, tried to speak out, and of course, some of them were actually silenced the hard way, I mean, as in brutally murdered and assassinated. And of course, they always blamed it on the person that did it, but the people that did it, if you trace their history, they usually end up being connected to military intelligence or some such thing, and they've been involved in mind control programs. These are things that we need to have brought to the surface so that everybody knows it. Of course, the mainstream media does not want these things known. And these are the most important things to us if we're going to actually bring change to the world. I mean, I'd like to see all of us be able to speak out against things that matter, like the murder of Martin Luther King, like the murder of JFK. I'd like to see more and more people become aware that most of these terrorist incidents are actually false flags that are well planned in advance by the military-industrial complex and by people that sit at the top of the pyramid. Martin Luther King, like Gandhi before him, and Gandhi was his hero, they were not afraid to speak out, and they were killed for it. All of them. all of these wonderful people that tried to warn us and tried to get us to think outside the box were a threat to the system, and yet the system turns around and in one way or another honors them. It's hypocrisy, folks. The world that we live in is filled with lies, but the lies are masqueraded as if they're true. Like 9/11, for example, and many other things. We are not told the truth. Now, it's interesting. Recently, I watched a video, and there were a few different guests that were on the panel, and one of them still believes the official 9/11 story. And I thought, how can he be enlightened if he still believes that nonsense about the terrorists flying airplanes into buildings, when obviously the 9/11 truthers debunked that whole thing for people that pay attention? Of course, the mainstream media still doesn't put forth the information that the 9/11 truth movement brought forth. And many things in our world are pushed under the carpet and not exposed because the powers that have been in control of everything do not want truth to be told. They do not want humanity to be set free. They do not want us to receive the wealth that is our birthright. If all of the money were distributed to every man, woman, and child on the planet, if it all were to be distributed equally, we'd all be multimillionaires or even billionaires. There's that much money in supposed circulation. Granted, it's made out of thin air in many cases, but not all of it. Some of it's actually backed by commodities, but the US dollar is a fiat currency, and that's the reserve currency of the world. What's wrong with that picture? There's lots wrong with that picture for those that pay attention. And I get frustrated. People say, why can't you be positive, Ron? Why can't you be more upbeat and give us hope? Well, I had hope for a long time. And I really believe that by, as I've said in so many other videos, 2011, 2012, that was going to be the culmination of the lying system. And we were going to be finally put into a system where there would be equality again, where truth would be told and where humanity would be set free. But it can't be set free in the economic system as it has been working most of our lives. Now, is Trump going to drain the swamp? Is he going to bring down the Federal Reserve? I mean, some people say he is. I don't know if he is or not. Seeing is believing. Actually having it come out in the media where they can no longer push it under the rug, that would be a wonderful thing to say, okay, they've arrested Hillary Clinton, they've arrested Barack Obama, they've arrested Bill Clinton, and many other names that are not quite as known, but people that have been the movers and the shakers of the political scene in Washington and other places around the world. When they finally start bringing some of these big names into accountability and actually give them their military trials for crimes against humanity and for breaking the most high standards of human decency that imaginable. We came, they died, what difference does it make? Well, we're all equal, folks. But some people, the subhumans, have given up the equality because they consider themselves superior. They don't see it as we're all equal, as we would if we didn't have an elite class. The elite class is the problem. They are not the solution. And yes, there have been some good kings and queens and royals over the years that have tried to do better than others. But overall, it's been a scam, and humanity has fallen for it. Anyway, I appreciate you listening, and I appreciate you sharing this video. And I thank you once again for listening. Namaste.